Hello, I'm Grace Franke, Communications Coordinator at the City of Ann Arbor's Office of Sustainability and Innovations, and welcome to Greenlight, where we dig into sustainability in Ann Arbor with the residents who are envisioning and creating a more sustainable and equitable future for our community. Supporting these goals and presenting this series is A20, the city's plan, vision, framework, and associated actions for implementing a just transition to carbon neutrality community-wide by the year 2030. Today, we're at Zingerman's Roadhouse with Kendall Monaghan, Sustainability Coordinator, and Head Chef Bob Bennett to learn more about the importance of climate action on local food and food businesses before Chef Bob meets with Michigan representatives in the Senate and House of Representatives. Thank you so much for joining.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I always start off by asking our guests to give us the elevator pitch of who you are and what you do. We'll start with you.
Well, my name is Bob Bennett. I'm the head chef here at Zingerman's Roadhouse. I've been working with Zingerman's for the last 23, 24 years. It is my home away from home. Here, I'm in charge of a lot of all the food that we put on plates, where we get it from, how we get it here, along with managing a pretty cool staff of kitchen folks and doing all the other different things that we can do. Outside of the building, I'm also a board member on the Independent Restaurant Coalition and a father of two. We live out in Chelsea, and just someone who's interested in seeing how we can make things a little bit better.
That's awesome. Kendall?
Yeah, so my name is Kendall Monaghan. I've been with the Roadhouse since 2022. I head up our sustainability efforts as well as work as front of house manager here. I also sit on the Sustainable Food Business Coalition here in town and kind of just try to push us forward as much as possible towards being as sustainable and carbon neutral as we can be.
Well, that's great, both of you, and thank you for hosting us today here at Zingerman's Roadhouse. My first question for Bob is, we're here today because we're at an important moment for climate action. Tell us why you're going to speak with Michigan representatives.
Well, I think there's a handful of things that we could be talking about. One of the things that I'm super interested in is the farm bill and how we support our farms in Michigan and around the U.S. One of the big things we see is just farmers not having the ability to do the work that they do best. Where land is hard to get to, young farmers, it's a hard place to start up.
Yeah.
And then it's a hard place to sustain themselves, to be able to do the things that we try to support farmers that they do. Things like no-till soil maintenance and not using antibiotics and not using sprays on their plants. So, and that work takes money and it takes effort that goes into it, and without support from the federal and the state levels, it's hard for them to do. So that's a big piece of what we're talking to Congress about and hoping to get some movement on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Why do you feel it's important that you voice this to that audience?
I think from when we think about like Congress and folks like that, like they see things from kind of above view and don't always see like what we see on our day-to-day and how we're dealing with farmers and the product that we're getting in or the product that we want to get in, and they don't understand the struggles of a restaurant on the day-to-day and why this is difficult and where this kind of goes from the farmer to the plate to our children to our parents.
Yeah, the real life.
Level. Exactly. So I think being able to kind of tell those stories and talk about our energy around it and why we're excited to do better, I think is an important place to be. Because I think that my belief is that all Congress folks, representatives, senators, they want to do good.
Yeah.
They just don't know always where it's coming from until they hear it from the people. So I think we're uniquely positioned to, as restaurateurs and chefs and owners and bartenders, like to talk to our representatives and tell them what our stories are.
That's fantastic. Speaking of your story, what is Zingerman Roadhouse's story as it comes to sustainability and its practices?
Well, I think when we talk about food, we talk about where our food comes from.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm always really excited about that we're able to do kind of on a day-to-day basis is be very honest about the food that we're putting in front of folks.
Yeah.
We don't hide about just like a generic chicken. We talk about it's Miller Amish chicken that comes from Indiana.
Yeah.
Or where our meat comes from, or where a lot of our vegetables come from. We're able to tell that story.
Yeah.
Which, if we don't know the farmers and we don't know where they're coming from and we're not comfortable with how they're raising products,
Yeah.
we can't tell that story in a confident way to our guests, and they're not excited about it if we're not excited about it. So I think that's the biggest piece that we do kind of on the kitchen side is watch where our food's coming from, how they're raising it, doing farm visits. Just really we've been in business we'll be 22 next week.
Wow, happy birthday.
Thank you. We'll be 22 next week. So we have a lot of these long-standing relationships where we know them as people, we know them as producers,
Yeah.
which gives us a leg up. But now it's finding that next generation of farmers and producers and getting more folks into the mix as we kind of build our community out a little bit, I think.
That's really cool. Kendall, did you have anything you wanted to add about the sustainability story here at Zingerman's Roadhouse?
Yeah, I think the story that we're crafting here, it's constantly growing. And one of the things that really makes it like a driving force for it is that we have a strong belief in investing in future generations. So that is a framework for our sustainability journey here, is not only recognizing that the choices that we make will impact us here at the restaurant, but will also have a long-term impact for the next generation of Ann Arborites.
Yeah, that's really cool. What guides the sustainability work here? Is it a motto, a vision, a hope? I guess you kind of spoke to that with your future generation.
Yeah, well, and it goes beyond that. So we've discussed somewhat that we have Planet Sing, which is an overreaching sustainability committee here at the ZCOB. And we have done a couple of things to craft what that is. So we have our beliefs and our guiding principles. So one of our beliefs is that we believe in continuous improvement and ambitious goals to eliminate and reduce waste.
Wow.
So that is a guiding belief that all members of the ZCOB should have in the back of their head. We want everybody to believe it. And then we also have a guiding principle, which is that we're committed to our impact. And there are many things that we agreed would go into that. And one of them is recognizing that sometimes to make the right choice in regards to sustainability, it's going to cost us a little bit more.
Yeah.
And embracing that as a community of businesses, I think has been crucial towards us moving forward with some speed.
Yeah. Did you have anything you wanted to add there?
No, I think she hit it on the head with that one. Kind of talking about the Zingermans. I think here at the Roadhouse, it's really trying to build a restaurant that we want to work at. And I think all those things really add into the layers of what we do, whether it lays in with like our culture and what we're doing and how we're supporting the community. So I think it all really comes together.
Yeah. What have been some of the toughest challenges you've faced in making Zingerman's Roadhouse more sustainable?
I think for like when we think about the food, it's just continuing to make the right choice.
Yeah.
Because we can go for a cheaper product that helps our bottom line, which on a lot of levels is part of some of our beliefs where we're looking at our bottom lines and we need to be financially responsible.
Absolutely.
But balancing that with making the right choice that makes us feel good about the product where we're bringing in the back door.
Yeah.
And it's a hard line to kind of straddle where we're being financially responsible, but also really focusing on kind of things that are raised the right way.
Yeah.
And they don't always match up. Every once in a while, we'll find that unicorn product that has a good bottom line and is raised the way we want it to and tastes really good.
Yeah.
But a lot of times those don't mesh. So it's kind of finding that balance on how we use products and how we bring in products.
Yeah, it's cool to hear you talk about and acknowledge that, because of course we do wish that we lived in a world where it was just the simplest and the easiest and the cheapest thing to do is to be more sustainable. But I'm glad that you're finding that path and doing that work as an example.
I also think it's staff buy-in. Like, there's a lot of noise right now regarding climate change, regarding what are steps that are necessary to take. Is it all conflated? And it gets really difficult, especially for younger generations, to necessarily know what message they should be listening to. And especially when you have a large-scale restaurant like this, where on average we have about 50 employees at any point in time, in order to be effective, we have to have that staff buy-in, because if it's only a couple people, we're not going to make as big of an impact. So education for our staff has been crucial.
Yeah, that's really cool. What does that education look like?
So it comes in a variety of different ways, whether it's from like a newsletter that I send out with my wonderfully spunky personality, conversations at pre-shift, staff announcements through emails, or right now we have a game going throughout the entirety of the Z-Cob called the Erase Waste Challenge.
Whoa!
And so for that, we're focusing on food, energy, and water waste. And you can identify any Zingerman's employee is eligible for this. You can look either in your home business or at a sister business when you're visiting. And then we reward that effort. So it's $10 for your first submission, and then $5 for every subsequent submission, up to $100 that you could earn on your paycheck by looking around the Z-Cob and helping us see through a different lens where we could improve.
That's really cool. It's cool to hear not only the culture, but the way you're incentivizing that behavior. That's really fun. I love a competition.
We also have, which is new and improved, getting ready to be voted on this upcoming month, it's brand new, is we are going to be nominating and awarding a sustainability star each month.
Oh, wow.
So coworkers will be able to nominate those around them that they feel are embodying those principles. And then there will also be a cash incentive for people who win that as well. So hopefully we can get everybody on board and everybody excited to move in that direction.
That's awesome. How do you hope to transform what sustainability means, not only for restaurants here in Ann Arbor, but in Michigan and across the country?
Well, for me, I think it's realizing that it's a combination of small changes, especially looking at restaurants. If you look at our carbon footprint, most of our carbon footprint actually comes from who we are sourcing from, our vendors, our purveyors. And some of it you don't necessarily know how to make a dent in it. For here we use hardwood for everything. We smoke. So coming up with creative ways to combat that, it can seem daunting, but in the end, it's one small change after one small change after one small change. And I think if we can get the understanding, especially for restaurants in our community and across Michigan, to understand that it seems like a really big task, but you just have to do one small thing. And then when you've done that, do another small thing.
Yeah, and in 10 years, you'll look back and have 10 years worth of small things that amounted into a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally agree with Kendall on that one. It is a lot of different small things, and it's also how we communicate what we're doing and why we're doing it to our guests that come in. I mean, and I think if we're doing that right, we get the small goal, how that spreads out to the rest of Michigan, where our guests are going to other places, be like, you know what, Zingerman's was doing this. Why can't we do that here? Or how do we spread that out? And it kind of happens in this organic way.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's always the loudest voice in the room, but sometimes it's just the people who are continuous and intentional about what they're doing, I think, that make a big difference.
Yeah, I like that word intention. I'm hearing that in what you're saying as well. The intention behind it is what can drive you forward. That's really cool. What's next for Zingerman Roadhouse's sustainability journey?
So this is my brain baby. Obviously, we are doing a large-scale remodel, which will put us into a much better standing. We're going to be upgrading a lot of our appliances, going Energy Star on equipment that we have had for 20 years, and re-insulating, doing a lot to our building envelope as a whole.
Wow.
And then also establishing the framework for us to move towards electrification as there are available units and appliances that would meet our needs and our volume. So that's a lot of fun. But as Bob brought up in his conversation that he's getting ready to have in Washington, D.C., there's a lot of funding issues that are going on with farmers. So in connection with the Sustainable Food Business Coalition, my next big project and dream is to work on creating a cyclical system with the farmers that we source from. Whether it's using our organic waste to create biochar or compost, however it may be, creating a system where we can then give that to our local farmers and they're not dependent upon federal funds in order to have those nutrients that they need. And in turn, guaranteeing that we who source from them have good produce to put on your plate.
That's really cool. That's something we talk about. One of the strategies in A20 is transitioning from a linear economy to a circular economy where everything stays in this lovely little ecosystem that we have here in Ann Arbor.
For sure. I mean, I would say continuing to work with small farmers to make them slightly bigger farmers and giving them this sustainability and what they're able to do year in and year out, bringing new farmers to the table. I think I was at a conference not long ago where like the average age of farmers is 60 to 65.
Wow.
But bringing that age down because we know we're losing farmers left and right where farms are closing, people are selling their land, and a lot of times it's not other farmers buying it.
Yeah.
So giving folks something to lean on, somewhere to sell their product on a continuous basis, I think is a big one. And just kind of, we did it at one of our past dinners where we're introducing new farmers to our community.
Yeah.
And trying to lift them up. So doing more of that, and obviously like on a national level trying to get the farm bill pushed through and in the way that supports small farms a little bit more than we have in years past.
Yeah, absolutely. And that goes back to what you were talking about, making sure we're taking care of future generations, especially of farmers. Before we go, I would love to ask, what do you hope that the takeaway is, both from your work here at Zingerman's Roadhouse and when you have your meetings in Washington, D.C.?
I hope the takeaway is that we're all trying to do better, and we all want to work together to do better.
Yeah.
Because I'm only one voice, but having more voices behind us with that message and bringing that to the table, I hope it's the takeaway. Getting more people talking about it and thinking about it, as opposed to it's not so bad.
Right.
But we know where it's going, and we know where we don't want it to go, and we want to kind of give to that community and build something that's sustainable here. So. Absolutely.
Do you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I think from a restaurant perspective, Zingerman's has always been a name that carried a lot of respect with it. And we are a very large restaurant that does a lot of volume. So I'm hoping that the takeaway from the outside perspective could be that if we are capable, as with the volume that we do and the meat that we put on the plate and our smoking, if we are able to work towards achieving carbon neutrality, then everybody can. It's not a goal that's out of reach. You just have to start the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really cool. Well, thank you both so much for joining.
Thanks for having us.
It's been really cool to hear about everything. You can learn more about Zingerman's Roadhouse and Planet Zing at zingermanscommunity.com and learn more about A20 at a20.org. Have a question you want to ask to a sustainability expert in Ann Arbor or a story you'd like to share? Send us an email at sustainability@a2gov.org. This has been Greenlight. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you again soon.